Hello everyone, this is Wolf. We are back for more challenge survival. In the time lapse that you saw earlier, I completed the tunnel going out towards deposit number 1. We picked up some ice along the way, along with several million stone. Today we're going to drill out the stone underneath deposit number 1. As you can see, we've clipped the ice somewhat. So I'm going to deconstruct this drill rig and the assembly in the back once I have a little bit of room for the stone, which the drills are currently full of. And then we will begin drilling underneath. Say the ice is probably 30 or 40 meters thick. So that is, vector cam fail there. That is where I will be drilling down. I don't know if I'll start exactly where I started right here. I'll probably go back a ways and drill down at an angle. Since I've collected so many resources with this project, I really don't have much need to save anything, so I will be right-click mining. I'm not entirely sure if today I will be going out to salvage. The cat's paw did crash, so that might be a worthwhile thing for me to do. And I currently don't have any enemies in the sky, so actually I think that's the first thing I'm going to do. Salvage those 2 drifting pursuants that fell. There's one over here as well. If there's anything valuable in them, and then get to the drilling. Let's get to it. So I think I'm going to add another speed module onto the binary. Ignore the scaffolding I had to use in order to get back up there when I foolishly ran out of hydrogen while standing on my drill rig. Alright. Get the speed mod. Everything okay with a refinery? Any issues? Processing normally, so should be okay. Gathered up a fair bit of ice as well, so I won't have to worry about my bottles. One thing that I was slightly concerned about as things went on here, space for fun. I think I'm just gonna shift these similar and store them there for the moment. So I'm not salvaging any special resources for any of these. I'm just going after the cargo. May seem like a bit of a waste, but they'll be out here for a little while, and well, special resources in the cargo container that are most valuable. And the turrets. Cat's paws, turrets are wrecked. So. Currently don't have a source of magnesium other than getting to this ammunition. So make do. Cargo container? This is my... Ah, there we go. There's only the one cargo container and it doesn't have anything in it. That's a little bit of a cheat. Oh well. Drifting pursuants, their platinum on board are more than worthwhile. Gold and a hydrogen. Got plenty of hydrogen bottles, but it's too bad of an idea. Bunch on. Especially after last episode where I kept getting shot in the face. Rockets. Having a ready supply is... It's... Whoa. That other drifting pursuit is out. Ah, here we go. And its self-destruct appears to have been complete. But it left behind the platinum ingot. Take that as a win, salvage-wise. Back to base. You might be wondering how I can see so well in the dark. I can't. I just have a really, really good sense of direction, and I just rely on that. Yeah, got more ammunition. So I remember where things are, and if I get turned around or if I get lost, it's a rare occurrence. That said, I'm also the sort of person who tends to wander off in random directions, especially in survival, so it could happen. Probably will happen. I'm human after all. Yeah, this is one that self-destructed. I did not realize drifting pursuits could self-destruct. And these things just gut themselves when they blow. Looking around for anything valuable ammunition that could be laying around. Scrap metal is, well, it's just scrap metal. It's not super valuable, but every little bit of iron that takes a minimum of effort in order to gather is probably worthwhile to have on once I start the bigger projects. And trust me, I do build big projects. This base, this under the lake base that I'm planning will span all of these deposits eventually. Huge underground complex. That. Let's reseal our base. Which stone has been processed. Quite nice. All cargo containers. Now we have room. Interesting, a little bit of damage. Our large cargo container is full. I am super happy that I built. And with about 6 million stone, our refinery is going to be running for a while. 12 hours until our battery is depleted. Current power level. I think that might be plenty of time for me to get additional power production up and running at the new drilling site that I'm. Platinum over the ground. Thousand ice out so I can put bottles in. Now to deconstruct our drill rig. This was only ever intended to be a temporary structure to get this tunnel built. Oops, that hurt. But also because of the vast quantities of resources I've gathered, there's 6 million stone right now being processed. I've gathered several 100,000 ice with this, and within short time period, that all will become resources that will be very, very valuable to me in the construction of the base. I'm not going to need silicon, and I'm not going to need magnesium for quite some time. Or not magnesium, nickel or iron for quite some time. Let's do something real fast though. throw an ore detector on here so I can see just what kind of deposit I've poured my way into. When I switch to my drill, I detect ice and silicon. Silicon. All right. That means this deposit contains one of two things. Nickel and magnesium are for sure. Magnesium is certain because silicon always comes with magnesium. Also may contain nickel or ice. That could be potentially problematic. I don't really need silicon. The quantities I've gotten from this drilling project here really don't need it. However, if it's magnesium, worthwhile. And the stone that I could grind down in the process, that I could drill down in the process, will get me the resources needed to get to everything else. Perhaps my base won't necessarily span the impressive distance. Not the end of the world, but it just means that I may need to have a smaller method of getting down to those regions. May end up just using a mining ship to get to them. Nothing wrong with that at all, honestly. Ice there. We are surprisingly close to the surface since we came down this way. I think the curvature of the planet is starting to affect. This drill rig may have just gone far enough for the curvature of the planet to have started to play a factor. Not unexpected. A little bit of advice when grinding on pistons. Always try to grind down the base of the piston. If you don't, you can create some weird things, especially if the piston is partially extended. Um, it will wobble, it will spring out, it will move, and sometimes explosively. That are full. Got another 20,000 liters of space to put into the assembler, so I can break down all of this. And then I'll probably begin construction of the corridor extending down. The conveyors will be a part of that. Not like everything I've built here is going to get reused in one way or another. Oops. That was an accident. Once that fills up, I'll have the survival kit, which I believe holds 10,000. Not hurting on space, right? I could also make more cargo containers, but I wanted to keep that area as temporary as possible. The main base is where I'm going to be building next. Remember to just very carefully tap with this grinder sometimes. Guys will one shot anything you're attempting to grow. Just like that. Oops. I had a thought to perhaps running pistons in order to connect the conveyor systems, but I dismissed it. I don't really like using subgrids in that way. It can be messy. Plus, if the subgrids start to wobble and shake on their own and there's voxel nearby, that's a recipe for playing. Oh, cool. Oops. Got a little carried away with the jetpack there. And that stone is processing quite nicely now. Down to only 5 million in the ores cargo container, and everything carving through it quite nice. Survival kit is grabbing stone. Maybe I didn't need that second speed. Time will tell. Move the scaffolding. Hopefully I won't need any more attention. Then I'm going to grab steel plate and construction. I'm going to continue the grid along the wall here. First, grid moving on, touching to the light. May or may not end up being a permanent fixture. Build here, but time being, I'd rather want nice. Sorry. Then I will be putting lights on this. Down, no. Oh, let's jump forward until when I've got all of this welded up and in place. And just like that, we now have our mine shaft. Well lit, easily and safely fly along it at a high rate of speed. Okay, I just bumped into the wall. Alright. Now is going to be the complicated. Got this whole extra area up here that's already been excavated. Not a big deal. It is what it is. However, that just means that as I build down, I need to determine how far down to go in order to build the appropriate slope for this base. And I do not need my rifle for that. Like that little bit of ice doesn't extend all that. Like that's just the end of that. I mean, it's not all together a bad thing. So let's build a grinder. Build a ramp that can be used to match that angle. The angle is to go down 3 blocks. I'm going to use, not be blind, I'm going to use the 2x1x1 slopes for this ramp, which will be finicky enough. This is far from an ideal way to do this, but that's the. We'll be welding in the blocks that are getting buried, so to speak. It's just the way that I am. Don't like having unwelded blocks hanging around, eating, processing. Not there's anything wrong with that, but and then we'll just continue this going forward at this angle. Deposit is 39 meters away in that direction, means silicon is directly below my feet. Perhaps should rethink this range. No, I don't think I will. I think switch to spectator cam. Oh, the sun's come up. I think that ramp is actually going to put me right in the middle of the silicon. That's just fine. I think I can work with that. I don't, and probably will not need the silicon. I think I can work with that. Not too much difficulty. All right, let's get to drilling, and I will jump forward in a bit. Alright, I think that's about as far down as I need to go. Directly below the deposit, and the deposit extends pretty good distance in both directions. So now I'm going to begin excavating a large cavern. I'm deep enough under the ice, I'm not going to compromise the ice. And this will be a deep enough base to be protected. So here, I'm 25 meters away from the silicon. I think that is workable for me to start working on the base. Now, the drill assembly I have in mind is going to be pretty simple. I normally would do something a little more elaborate for a vertical drill system, but this is just going to be a sequence of pistons connected by conveyor tubes. I'm not going to do anything particularly special. And since it's silicon that's down there, I'm debating about whether or not I'm going to right-click mine to get rid of a bunch of it in the hopes of getting a lot of stuff further under. But that means the space that I'm going to need to build this in is going to be quite large. Let's first drill this way about 15 or 16 blocks. I'm going to need to go back for steel. Probably going to also need to program the assembler for steel, but neither here nor there. Hydrogen bottles, not due to run out of hydrogen. Really would not. Organized. How is our stone processing? Pretty well, actually. Fully depleted in 13 hours. That speed module is helping. If I start putting an order into the assembler, though, that's where I think the power is going. Problems if I put an order for 10,000 steel plates into the assembler. 5 hours. I think I'll be okay. The reason why I'm welding it up and making such large quantities of steel plates is I do want to weld up the parts of this corridor that will be welded. I don't want there to be leftovers, so to speak. I want it all to be welded up and put together. So let's continue with our drill.